The Xperia 1 Mark 6 comes with a wider aspect ratio than its predecessor. It features high-quality materials, including Gorilla Glass Victus 2 on the front, standard Victus glass on the back, and an aluminum side frame. The back panel has a matte finish with a unique, grippy texture reminiscent of a pill blister pack. This texture not only feels nice to hold, but also keeps fingerprints and smudges at bay. The entire build is IP68 rated against water and dust. The Xperia 1 Mark 6 now features a 19.5 by 9 aspect ratio and a resolution drop from 4K to FHD+. While the previous 21 by 9 screen was comfortable to hold, there wasn't enough cinema scale content to justify it. The 6.5-inch panel remains crisp and detailed, and the switch to a 2.5K screen means the chipset doesn't have to work as hard during gaming. Sony has also introduced a 1 to 120 Hz adaptive refresh rate, improving motion smoothness and battery life. Brightness has been enhanced, and the display quality is excellent, with impeccable contrast and natural color tones. The Xperia 1 Mark 6 boasts a triple camera system. The main camera is a whopping 48 megapixel Sony IMX888 sensor. There is also a 12 megapixel ultra-wide and telephoto lens. The standout upgrade is the continuous zoom telephoto, which reaches from 3.5x to 7.1x without digital manipulation. Image quality shines in both daylight and low light conditions with improved HDR algorithms and human pose estimation. Sony's phones have traditionally appealed to photography enthusiasts, offering excellent manual controls. However, this sometimes came at the expense of point-and-shoot simplicity. In the Xperia 1 Mark 6, Sony has streamlined its camera app, combining multiple modes into one. This device offers impressive video recording features. You can record videos in 4K at 30 FPS, 60 FPS, and even 120 FPS for smooth, slow-motion footage. The video quality is very good with crisp and accurate color. The Snapdragon 8 Gen 3 chipset delivers flawless performance in daily use. Multitasking is smooth, and Android feels super responsive. With 12 gigabytes of RAM, apps stay in memory without frequent reloading. Regarding battery life, Sony sticks to its tried and true formula, a 5,000 milliampere cell that charges at 30 watt. 50% charge takes about 30 minutes, and a full charge requires an hour and a half. Despite heavy usage, gaming, photography, and video streaming, this phone still manages to last a full day and night. Sony claims an impressive 36 hours of local video playback. The Sony Xperia 1 Mark 6 takes a more conformist approach compared to past efforts. Its screen aspect ratio, resolution, and refresh rate align with industry standards. Photo processing is now more hands-off, and there's no overwhelming array of manual camera apps. While it may not be the ultimate choice for point-and-shoot photographers, it still boasts fan-favorite features, excellent battery life, and impressive performance.
The iPhone 14 Pro Max is one of Apple's top-notch phones. It has a shiny metal frame and a smooth glass back and front. The front glass is super strong and can handle some drops. The phone has speaker and mic grills on the bottom and the lightning port that won't go away. The design is very Apple-like and cool. It can handle dust and water too. The iPhone 14 Pro Max has a big 6.7-inch screen with 120 Hz that looks amazing. It's an OLED screen with a super sharp resolution, and it shows colors really well. The other thing is how bright the screen can get. It can go up to 1,000 nits normally, but if you're outside in the sun, it can crank up to 2,000 nits. That means you can see everything clearly even on the brightest days. Everything feels bigger and better on the iPhone 14 Pro Max. Playing games, checking Twitter, watching YouTube, browsing the web, you name it. One thing I really dig is the dynamic island. It's a black bar at the top of the screen that replaces the old notch. It sounds silly, but it's actually super cool and makes me wonder what else Apple can do with it. The iPhone 14 Pro Max is a great performer, as you would expect from an iPhone. It has the new A16 Bionic chip, which is faster and more efficient than the previous models. The A16 chip can handle any app or game you want to use, and it also has 6 GB of RAM for smooth multitasking. Apple's cameras have been awesome for a while, and the iPhone 14 Pro Max makes them even better. Apple finally upgraded to a 48-megapixel main camera with a big aperture and sensor shift stabilization. That means you can use it as a 2x zoom lens too. There is also a 12-megapixel telephoto camera for 3x zoom and a 12-megapixel ultra-wide camera. The selfie camera is also 12-megapixel, and it can autofocus for the first time on an iPhone. And that's not all. The iPhone 14 Pro Max has a new photonic engine that makes the colors and textures look amazing in low light. The main camera takes stunning photos in any light. The colors are vibrant, the details are sharp, and the blur is natural. The ultra-wide camera is also awesome. It lets you capture more of the scene without losing quality. It doesn't make things look distorted at the edges, which is nice. And the best part is the macro mode. It automatically turns on when you get close to something. The 12-megapixel telephoto camera has been a pleasant surprise. It may not seem as impressive as the 30x and 100x zoom on a Galaxy S22 Ultra, but it works very well. It lets you zoom in 3x and capture your subject with great detail and color. This device has a 4,323 mAh battery. The iPhone 14 Pro Max is a great choice for anyone who loves a big screen. The cameras are amazing, especially for video. You can capture smooth action shots and cinematic effects with ease. The battery life is also impressive, lasting longer than most phones.